I'd like to start off this video by admitting that I've never been the biggest fan of the Suicide Squad. Even by comic book standards, the idea of sending convicted serial killers and terrorists to fight the government's battles for them is absolutely ridiculous. Especially when at least a couple of members of the team have shown that they're smart enough to find ways around Waller's implanted bombs. But with all that being said, the squad has managed to have some fun stories over the years, when they're given to writers who know what they're doing. The problem is, a lot of writers have absolutely no idea what they're doing. It's important to understand that the Suicide Squad was supposed to be a Black Ops team created by the US government in order to accomplish certain objectives while giving them plausible deniability. If the squad was caught in some illegal or immoral activity, the government could deny involvement in the whole thing, or even just kill them with the bombs in their heads to keep them from revealing any secrets. The squad doesn't work in stories with the world at stake because it's impossible to believe that the squad could save it if superhero teams like the Justice League can't. Quite a few members of the squad straight up don't have any powers, and the ones that do are at best mid-level metas like Killer Frost. It's silly to think that the squad could beat Brainiac, and it's silly to think that they could beat the much more powerful Justice League, even if they are mind-controlled. The live-action films commit a similar mistake. Enchantress took over a city nearly instantly. What is the Suicide Squad supposed to do? The 2021 film did better by making the goal blowing up a shady facility rather than stopping a bad guy. But even then, I don't see why the alien they fought had to be Starro, even if that version of Starro was weaker than his comic book counterpart. The problem with putting the squad up against monsters like the game does is that it destroys any suspension of disbelief. In the game, they show you that this Batman is willing to kill and he just toys with them. Green Lantern easily restrains all four of them, and all he does is show them the city. The Flash straight up perception blitzes Deadshot. At one point, Superman appears, gloats, and then just leaves. Even Lex catches them in a shock trap that wasn't even intended to catch all four. It's not like the writers just disregarded power levels. They clearly show that any member of the Justice League could solo the entire squad. They just don't because of the plot. But even when Suicide Squad media nails the story, the writers struggle with characters. The squad was, at least in its original incarnation, meant to be a team made up of expendable characters. A team with a rotating roster filled with C-list characters who can die at any time, with Waller herself being the only regular. Nowadays, it's the Harley Quinn and Deadshot show, with them appearing in every adaptation of the team, which goes against its basic premise. Suicide Squad comics are meant to be an ensemble story, but these two consistently steal the spotlight and are never going to die because they're the most popular characters, and that fact removes all tension. It's sometimes even worse because as the squad became more popular, some writers went out of their way to put in more famous villains, like Black Manta, Reverse Flash, and even Deathstroke on the team. There are some writers who've been better about what characters they use, but it's still a prevalent issue. No character, besides Amanda Waller, should be synonymous with the squad. And honestly, even her character has gotten worse over time. She went from someone willing to make morally questionable choices for the greater good, to someone who treats all her subordinates, whether we're talking about the squad or her support staff, as expendable assets who she has no qualms about throwing away at a moment's notice. The Suicide Squad is a victim of its own success. Its popularity has led writers to abandon this premise and purpose and turn it into an edgy group of anti-heroes rather than what it was meant to be. And worst of all, the squad isn't even really fun anymore. But that's all for now. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and please stay tuned for more.